A man personally helps his wife put on her stockings. Then he helps her slip into a pair of sexy high heels. He dresses his wife up so seductively, yet it's so she can go on a date with another man. As soon as the two arrive at the dance party, she completely ignores Vic, sets her sights on her target for the night. The moment they meet, they embrace each other. Vic watches them intently, filled with jealousy, but not saying a single word. A friend walks up to Vic, reminds him Linda is being overly intimate with someone else. Unaware that Vic and Linda have a pre-arranged agreement, they've consciously chosen an open relationship. As long as Linda doesn't abandon the family, she can pursue lovers freely outside. Later, Joel approaches Candace, deliberately orders the same cocktail as him, but Vic just silently pays for the drinks, wanting nothing to do with him. To Vic's surprise, Joel pushes further, even teasing Vic about generous he is to let his wife fraternize with others. Listening to Joel's provocation, Vic doesn't lose his temper. Instead, he asks Joel if he's heard of a man named Martin. Martin had suddenly gone missing a few days earlier. Before he disappeared, he had been on very good terms with Linda.
I killed him.
Joel doesn't believe him, thinking it's just a threat, but Vic's expression doesn't look like he's joking, leaving Joel more and more frightened. He turns around and tries to leave. Linda sees him and chases after him. Joel doesn't dare to say anything more. Linda asks Vic what exactly he said to Joel, but no matter how much she presses him, Vic refuses to utter a word. On the way home, Linda props her feet. Panda takes a rotten apple out of a plastic bag. Their marriage is just like this apple, the two of them sharing the same spoiled fruit. That night, Vic hides in the abandoned garage, keeping company with the snails he raises. Those slow yet cold creatures perfectly mirror his repressed inner self. When their friends hear about Vic threatening Joel, they feel deeply sorry for Handmaid, remind Vic to keep a closer eye on his wife. Otherwise, such incidents will keep happening endlessly. Linda also hears about it and gets into a huge fight with Vic, insisting that Joel is just a friend of hers. She even demands that Vic apologize to Joel, clarifying that the threat the previous night was just a joke. Linda tells Vic that she has invited Joel to dinner at their house. Hearing that Linda has invited Joel again, Vic decides it's time to take action. Linda puts on the same sexy dress she wore the night before. She and Joel chat and laugh, even feeding each other food. Joel thinks he'll be leaving soon, so he no longer feels on edge. However, Linda starts complaining about Vic, saying she thinks he's mentally unstable. Vic teases her, saying that's exactly what she's into. Then Vic turns his anger toward Joel, admitting that he were truly mentally unstable. Joel wouldn't be here right now. Joel makes an excuse to go to the bathroom and hurries off. Linda tells Vic to go read their daughter a bedtime story, finding a way to distract him. When Vic walks out of his daughter's room, he happens to witness the two fooling around. He says nothing and heads straight for the kitchen, deliberately making noise. Annoyed by the disturbance, Linda rushes over, only to tell him to get Joel a drink. While Linda is in the bathroom, the two are left alone face to face, and Joel feels overwhelmed with pressure. He gathers his courage and tells Vic to apologize to him, hoping Vic will admit that his talk of murder was just to scare him. Instead, he hears even more specific details about the killing. Vic even thoughtfully calls a taxi for Joel, who could withstand such pressure. Joel has no choice but to slink away again. The next day, Joel leaves for Mexico, never to appear in Linda's life again. Writer Donnie hears about going around claiming he killed Martin, and he wants to write a novel about Martin's disappearance. Vic clearly has no interest in talking to him. When the party starts, Linda lets loose once more. Her outfit is barely decent. Everyone's eyes are fixed on her. Seeing this, Vic is consumed with jealousy. He invites the woman next to him to dance. Linda watches this scene from nearby, seeing Vic grinning happily with his big white teeth. She puts on a nonchalant front, but her smile gradually stiffens. After the party, she asks Vic how he felt that day. Hearing Vic calmly say it was okay, her resentment builds up. Finally, she unbuckles her seatbelt abruptly, leans over, and crawls on top of Vic, showing her possessiveness toward him through her actions. After hurting each other, Vic thinks they might reconcile, but the next day, he receives a collection call from the bank. His agent says there was an overspend of $3,000 on his card last week, and the supplementary card is in his wife's possession. The charge was made by a private piano teacher, so he hurries to the location. When he sees Terry's appearance, Vic immediately understands everything. Clearly, Linda is still playing her hunting games. At that moment, Linda also walks over. She takes off her coat right away, and the two exchange flirtatious glances throughout the restaurant. Vic can only leave in anger. When he gets home, he finds Linda's wedding ring on the table. She'd taken it off. Meanwhile, the news is playing on TV. The police have found Martin's body, but there's no trace of surprise on Vic's face. Linda doesn't return home until the middle of the night. Vic angrily confronts her about the piano lessons, but Linda looks completely indifferent.
I found Martin McRae. He's dead.
Linda seems to have already guessed something. The next day, while dropping his daughter off at school, Vic happens to see Terry holding flowers, walking in the direction of their house. When Vic gets home and sees the fresh flowers, he angrily throws them into the trash can. Later, he deliberately invites his friends to dinner at that restaurant, takes the opportunity to greet Terry. After seeing the man's appearance, his friends also start to worrying about Vic, but out of respect for his dignity, they don't say much. Vic thinks Linda might finally calm down, but to his surprise, she becomes even more brazen. The next day, she doesn't return home until early morning. Seeing that Vic has waited for her all night, Linda shows no sign of apology. It's not until Vic mentions the piano head teacher, she walks silently into the bedroom. Vic can no longer hold back his anger and shouts at her. Linda seems to enjoy seeing him angry. It's the only way she can feel loved. Linda deliberately provokes Vic, asking if he wants to hear the details of her and Terry's night together. Vic forbids Linda from seeing Terry again, but Linda threatens to divorce him. Hearing the word divorce, Vic is overcome with rage, yet Linda always knows how to manipulate him, trying to make up for her mistakes with her body. But this time, Linda is like a devil sent by heaven to torment him. Restless as ever, Linda hosts a pool party at their house. The next dandy secretly invites Terry. Vic thought that after their fight the previous day, Linda would tone things down, but instead, she introduces her new friend to everyone in attendance. Watching Linda gyrating her body on the dance floor, Vic's gaze grows cold. At that moment, it suddenly starts pouring rain. Everyone runs inside, except Vic, who remains sitting in the downpour, as if waiting for something. When he returns to the banquet hall, Vic deliberately grabs the freshly baked cookies, using this as an excuse to destroy his fingerprints. No one notices as a body slowly emerges from the pool. Linda looks everywhere but can't find him. She opens the door and steps outside, only to let out a scream of terror at the sight before her. A group of people jump into the polyandry, pull the body out together. Vic runs over to perform CPR, but Terry is already dead. Later, the police arrive to handle the matter. After an investigation, it's found that the piano teacher had a large amount of alcohol in his blood. Only Linda suspects that Vic killed him, but she can't find any concrete evidence. Linda's firm accusation catches the attention of writer Donnie. No one believes Linda, because Vic had burned his hand while grabbing the cookies, leaving a strong impression on their friends. The police don't find any useful clubland, have to classify the case as an accident. One day, while Vic is out cycling, he suddenly notices someone following him. He knows it must be Donnie's doing, so he arranges to meet with him. After all, Donnie is the only one in town who suspects Vic is a murderer. Vic hints that Donnie should stop spreading memorandum, even threatens him with a power drill. The next day, while walking down the street, he encounters the same car following him again. Linda is in a nearby restaurant, and the man sitting across from her introduces himself as David, a psychological wants to open a clinic in the town. Vic immediately claims he's a bit schizophrenia, asks David for a business card, but David pats his pockets and finds nothing. Vic realizes right away that David is the one following him. He then heads straight to Donnie's house, hinting that he's discovered the private detective Donnie hired. Donnie denies hiring a private detective, but Vic already has sufficient evidence, a bill showing Linda transferred money to Donnie. It's clear the two of them are in cahoots, trying to keep tabs on Vic's every move. When he returns to his doorstep, he sees Linda with yet another new man. Vic has completely lost hope in Linda, but he still pulls himself hither to take care of their daughter. After Linda gets home, she starts making a phone call. Vic overhears her plans to travel to Brazil. The next day, Linda even invites the man to their house. This man, named Tony, turns out to be Linda's first love. Vic's demeanor clearly changes when he hears this, to become more and more affectionate, completely ignoring Vic's presence. While they indulge themselves outside, Vic ends up acting as a waiter. It's not until the two swagger upstairs together, he finally can't contain himself, quietly follows them. Linda glances back and sees him, but this time, Vic doesn't do anything, he just silently backs away. Linda knows Vic is truly angry, feels a little guilty, so she ends the party early. When Tony leaves, Vic follows him in his car. Vic lies, saying Linda has something to tell him, and lures Tony into his car. But he drives straight toward the river, and the surrounding area becomes increasingly desolate. He makes an excuse to go to the bathroom and stops the car. After getting out, Vic picks up a headstone, smashes it fiercely at Tony, releasing all his frustration and anger. Tony is killed by Vic's blows. Vic drags his body to the water, stuffs a stone into his pants, and still not feeling safe, takes off his own belt, picks up an even bigger stone, and ties it to Tony's body, fearing Tony's identity might be revealed. He also takes his wallet. Finally, he drags the body into the deep water. On the way home, a smile spreads across Vic's face. As soon as he gets home, he takes the initiative to bring up the man. But Linda senses something is wrong. Watching Vic, who never drinks, opening a bottle of champagne to celebrate, Linda's suspicions grow stronger. She quickly picks up the phone and dials Tony's number, but it just keeps ringing busy. By the next day, the time they had agreed to meet, she still hasn't been able to reach Tony. When Vic gets home, Linda suggests having a family dinner at the canyon where Tony was killed. For once, the two actually enjoy a date. Vic even prepares a gift specially for Linda. At that moment, their daughter suddenly runs toward the water, and Vic has to chase after her. When he looks up, he suddenly sees a body floating to the surface. This scares Vic half to death. He makes up an excuse about work to send his wife and daughter back home, but Linda leaves her scarf at the canyon. Vic says he'll go back to get it later, so he drops the two of them off at home and then hurries back to the canyon. When Vic arrives, he sees the body is still in the same place, lets out a sigh of relief. Just as he's about to use a wooden stick to push the body back into the water, Donnie passes by while out exercising. Vic makes up an excuse about his wife's scarf falling into the water, trying to get Donnie to leave quickly, but to his surprise, Donnie suddenly holds up the scarf he's holding. Vic doesn't know what to say. Donnie then starts walking down toward the water, looking confused by Vic's actions. Just as Donnie is about to take another step, the body suddenly floats up. Donnie catches sight of it and is scared out of his wits. Turning around to run away, Vic doesn't dare to stay either, chases after him. Donnie gets in his car and tries to drive away, but Vic chases after him on his mountain bike. Thanks to the many narrow paths in the area, Vic takes a shortcut and manages to keep up. The old man is about to call the police when an accident happens. The car hits a bump, causing the phone to fall inside. As he bends down to pick it up, Vic loses control of his mountain bike and crashes in front of Donnie's car. Donnie swerves sharply, and his car accidentally plunges off a cliff. Vic stands on the cliff and watches for a long time, making sure Donnie is dead, before casually heading home. But when he gets back, his wife is already waiting for him. Linda doesn't ask any questions. Instead, she leaves him with one sentence: "I saw Tony." With that, she turns around and walks upstairs. Vic knows the game is up, but what he doesn't expect is Chatline actually burns Tony's identification documents. Isn't this ending a surprise to everyone? Could it be that the two of them have been a husband and wife killing team all along? Who will be the next victim?